Squidtard store is open. Go check it out in the description. March Madness, the culmination of chaos in the basketball season. Unlike college football, where you can predict the results and still be 50% right sometimes, March Madness is a staple of unpredictability where even a Hollywood celebrity who's never seen a game in their life can outpredict the experts. There's big wins and upsets by the plenty, mixed in with a significant amount of tomfoolery and clownery. Let's see who's managed to make it to the dance. And no, I'm not talking about the NIT dance because that's nothing more than a consolation prize for failure. Not much of a stunner in the slightest. Being the most successful team in the regular season, they could die in the tournament and still come out as a 1 seed. From the moment where they won the Maui Invitational, we all knew that they were the team to beat this season. Still stands that way, as Bruce Pearl still wants death for all and nothing less. They'll be attempting to bring out the broom and sweep through the competition. Bets are that because of this that they'll somehow f*** it up and get upset by a 16 seed because happiness is a non-factor in March. Another example of putting all of your sports chips in one sport. Despite the fact that they were not able to shred through the Big Ten, they dominated it through decent offense and elite defense. On top of having a squadron full of freshmen, which I'm sure won't be tainted by interest in the transfer portal before the end of the careers. With a winnable stretch, maybe a Final Four is in reach for the Spartans. But your brother is also in your branch, so getting cucked is possible as well. Not exactly the storybook location the Cyclones want to be in this tournament, but this is definitely doable. A strong roster that's been playing at a high level as of recently has a high chance of getting far in this tournament, but as the injury bug does, you got kicked in the dick. Literally. Well, this doesn't make or break it, it's gonna make it tougher to get to the promised land with a setback like this one. Keep your head up for Lipscomb, because they want you to become a meme. Buzz, he's back, and he wants something other than an appearance. A&M hasn't done anything more since 2018. Battling through a brutal schedule, A&M managed to collect some significant wins to get them into this postseason. But nothing says preparation by having to face the chaos head-on through the entire year. Get your ROTC and Midnight Yell boys ready for a series of bullshit to come. At least you can't go 8-4 here. While Juwan Howard left Dusty May with nothing but rags, he turned those rags into sponges, absorbing W after W and getting Michigan much further than the fans anticipated. Not only did they have a strong regular season, but it all culminated in some conference hardware. Michigan, as the Big Ten champions, will want to prove that this trophy is more than a chance for the higher seeds to rest. It's also an opportunity to shit on Ohio State again. 6th in the conference and 6th in the tournament. A fitting spot for a team who's ranked 92nd nationally in offense. While this isn't terrible, it's more mid than anything. Ole Miss has the power to keep it close with anyone they play, as shown in the SEC tournament, but the clutch bone is a factor in which many do not understand. Learn it while you still have the chance. A step back from where you once been. While not a complete collapse, this was certainly not where they wanted to be. Outside the top 100 on offense, this put an end to 50 consecutive appearances in the AP poll. Cam Jones entering his final stretch in college will have to carry the weight of this team in the tournament in order to try and remedy what's been a below average season. Try not to fade into irrelevance like the rest of the Big East. How in the hell is it that Tank Conference can somehow fulfill this stature in 2 different sports? It's an alarming stat that somehow makes it impressive. Granted, Louisville's season was much better off this time. Additions through the portal have gifted them with a return to the dance inside the arena of their hated rival Kentucky. It's funny how the rebuilding was decent at most and somehow turned you into Tank Conference runner-up. The jokes make themselves at this point. Speaking of steps back, going from a 3 seed to a 9 is a painful pill to swallow. They're certainly worse, but it's like going from birthday cake ice cream to concrete flavored. While they weren't as good previously, this is still a team that can be lethal in the tournament pending their temperature. Better hope that you bring something to the Redbirds better than 146 ranked offense. After many years of attempting to build something, New Mexico finally managed to do it. Being the Mountain West champions, they garnered something further than an NIT appearance. Having a guy like Cade Dotson does them huge favors. Keep the momentum up, and you might be something other than Marquette's bye. If there's such a thing as a basketball god, North Carolina will lose this game. The Tar Heels are nothing more than below average this season, but due to their recent success, they were included in the dance. There's always controversies in these things, of course, especially with 68 teams involved. But what the hell, man? Due to their cuckery, San Diego State will have to clash with them in the first 4. The Aztecs themselves collected some significant dubs in the Mountain West, and will be looking to pull off another series in which they make the Final Four for no reason. So much for inaugural eligibility. UC San Diego has made history in which they quickly found themselves in the Division I bracket. Not only did they win the Big West regular season title, but they took it a step further by winning the tournament too. You couldn't have set up Michigan with a worse draw if you tried. The Ivy League teams are always one of the most dangerous forces in the big dance. They reserve no mercy for the higher ranked, and this year may be another example of it. John Pork could potentially put an end to many seasons through a Cinderella run. Or they die instantly. Make your choice while you still can. Wait a minute, there's a conference called the Atlantic Sun? Does this have relevance to the Sun Belt? Is it like the Sun Planet? Point being that due to winning their conference, Lipscomb has earned their spot in the madness. A strong season which could be even stronger with the dub over Iowa State. This is a strong showing for the state of Tennessee, and that's a very rare occurrence. Another seed, another team from the conference 50% of viewers didn't know existed. Winning the America East Conference, Bryant will have a chance to break someone or multiple someone's hearts as they progress into madness. Being hot at the right time could set up the Spartans for more bullshit than they were prepared for, and set the rest of us up by saying, get out. Alabama State managed to slide their way in through conference championship auto bids and nothing more. With a 19-15 record, their Cinderella run may be undone by another Cinderella in the form of St. Francis, who hasn't made the tournament since 1991. This game will probably be over by the time you watch this video, but whichever one manages to come out alive will be executed in 5 seconds flat momentarily. The one shining turd along the Tank Conference. A 31-3 overall record would be more than enough to propel anyone to a high seed regardless of the conference stature. The conference hardware that got reinforced their ranking. With the recruitment of two highly touted freshmen in Cooper Flagg and Con Canisius or whatever his name is, the Blue Devils might be in for a run in which returns them back to the mountaintop of the basketball world. Only time shall tell. Behold the source of Alabama's shortcomings in football. The administration finally figured out that there are other spots that run through their money. Squatting on Auburn in the season finale boosts their ranking to where they are now. In one of the greatest runs Alabama basketball has ever seen, we'll find out soon enough if they can continue to live up to expectations. I'm a little surprised the AD hasn't talked about what Alabama would hypothetically do if they were the number 1 seed. A strong, heavy performance in the Big Ten. We knew this team was the real deal the moment they knocked off Arizona back in November. Despite making it to the Big Ten championship, falling short against Michigan isn't exactly a bad loss. All the Badgers' goals still lie in front of them. 24 appearances out of the last 26 years is a statement that they can hold on to dearly. Speaking of Arizona, a strong seed is the only thing that can make up the shit that happened during the football season. Big victories and a 3rd place finish in the Big 12 proves that at least in basketball, they were ready for this conference. However this will represent the conference in the tournament is yet to be determined. You'd think that it would be well, but who the hell knows? Conference expeditions have done better for some schools than others. No exception to the Ducks, who managed to do pretty good in their first year of the Big Ten conference play. Jackson Shellstad and Toledo's Raheem Moss are two guys, if they get hot at the right time, could be the executioners of this division. Either that, or they could be the reason you don't see past the first round. At least there's no Ohio State this time. Even in basketball, Mormon influence extends to the postseason. Even if the defense was subpar at best, the offense was a lethal sword of doom where they could be playing at half capacity and still find a way to win it. If this trend continues here in the dance, there could be a lot of teams facing the Mormon fist of pain. Clearly, the Big 12, unlike the ACC, collected some significant assets in the sports world. 17-1 in West Coast play, this team outright obliterated their conference competition. This proved that not only are they the death of the conference, but a possible reaper of the tournament. I picked you to make the Final Four last season, and you screwed me over big time, so you're on your own here. Despite a losing record in the conference, the absolute wall of death that the SEC is helped your stature in the tournament. Like BYU, the Cowbell College carries a lethal offense, setting them up as one of the major lethal underdogs in the bracket. But how does it match up against this squad? Not exactly the great season that the Bears are reaching for, but at least you made it back. While not being the best team in the conference, they are a squad that can contribute at a high level if they show up. But reminder, this is if they show up. Holy hell, the Commodores are actually contributing to the sports world again. since the baseball team can't carry their weight, leave it to the football and basketball teams to climb the athletic department back into relevancy. Their competitiveness against the upper echelon of the SEC shows that this team can make it pretty far into the tournament as long as they hold their talent together. Regardless, hell of a year for this squad. Through their dominance of the Atlantic 10, the Rams have earned an auto bid. Through their struggles, they managed to return to the dance. Rather than prioritizing offense, this team holds together an iron curtain that'll be tough for any team to penetrate. Keeping a hold of said defense will be their key to making it past the first round. Give me Liberty or give me a first round elimination. Being the ones to claim the Conference USA, Liberty will have a lot to play for as they enter the tourney as a 12 seed. Like VCU, they are an iron wall in the defensive front. Oregon will have their work cut out for them. Let's hope it doesn't end up like the last time these two teams met. Nate Johnson and the Zips have good of a chance as any to be the ones to grab a significant upset. With a star on the roster, the MAC champions could very easily wound up taking advantage of Arizona's struggles as they progress into the first round. The rest of the teams in the division better keep that in mind. How big is the sky, you ask? Enough to where Montana was able to win the conference. Shitty low-grade puns aside, the Grizzlies have made it back for the first time in over 5 years. With Money Williams and Brandon Whitney at their side, this will be the chance for anything in that state to be relevant in anything at all. Not even gonna lie about it, the first time I saw the name of this school, I thought it was just some random guy they put on the bracket. Considering the 10-22 record they had, the only reason they made it is because the Horizon League is full of shitters and gigglers. The rebound they've taken though could set them up for the funniest thing ever. American? American what? American Airlines? Mount St. Mary's has whipped up a storybook season before the tourney with a win in the MAAC tourney for the first time ever. They'll be up against American Express for the right to be one of the remaining 64 teams in the bracket. Either result is funny if one of them can pull off an upset over number 1. So go team! The SEC champions. What you're looking at right now is a force of which is going to be very, very tough to overcome. Florida has gotten red hot at the perfect time of the season. If they get any hotter than now, it could be like Beru to the S ranks where everyone gets an ass whooping. Florida fans couldn't feel more accomplished. It's about time though, because I got tired of hearing Florida fans glazing Lagway and Billy Napier. A red storm is a-comin'. Whether it's the red storm of blood of the opposition or of their fans' period blood when they lose is yet to be figured out. Being the Big East champions for the first time in 35 years, this team is stronger than many before and on all fronts. Rick Pitino has a chance to make significant history or be on top of the hot seat for one game. Flip that coin. Grant McCaslin has flipped the trajectory of the Texas Tech program. With their highest seeding in 25 years, the Red Raiders will be looking to fulfill the promise of success in the dance. With the Big 12 Player and Newcomer of the Year at their side, the sky's the limit. And I don't mean the Big Sky Conference. Talk about exceeding expectations. Maryland was projected to finish 13th in the conference and came out with a narrow semifinal loss to Michigan to finalize their season so far. As a 4 seed, anything and more is possible for the Turtles, as they have all the chance in the world to further push the button of firing Mike Locksley once the fall season hits. The university is starving for success. No better time than now to live up to the expectations. They'll have a queen to guide them to possible glory. Considering they don't exist in the fall, this is the only time that Memphis fans are able to come out and smack talk until your ears bleed. With an AAC title under their belt, safe to say the mouthing has grown to unprecedented levels. PJ Haggerty getting hot could spell the trouble for the entire division, but that's only if Florida decides to die. Penny Hardaway's expectations have doubled in days. So good luck. Happy days for all, huh? Missouri has been the butt of all sports as of recently, but with the recent uprising from Eli Drinkwitz in football, we kinda all figured their time was coming in basketball. With a heavy grasp on the clutch bone, Missouri has a chance to be the shocker of the century, or their bones will blow up like Rex. Kansas is a March Madness team, sir. That's about all they've managed to be. With the downfall of the century, the Jayhawks have degraded from the bread and butter of the Big 12 to being an afterthought of the conference. It's just like football, huh? Being one of the premier programs of the sport, maybe Kansas' shortcomings are a facade and not just them being shit. Or maybe the Big 12 is just that much better. I once said Kansas got hit with a brutal blow of degradation, but holy shit, who expected this? The two-time defending national champions have been wedgied off their throne and a little bit more. Wins over Gonzaga and Creighton prove that they are not entirely dead though. While it won't be easy by any means, maybe this adversity will set them up for making everyone mad at them again if they can make a strong run. Fire Dan Hurley though! Maybe adding you into the SEC wasn't as much of a mistake as we all thought it was. You got thrown into the gauntlet and managed to come out with only a few broken bones and a red bum. This team can be categorized by the fact they do not know how to give up and die. This is a factor that could very well reach a forefront in the tournament. Thank goodness Brent Venables doesn't control the offense. Guess what, everyone? It's pig time again. The Razorbacks have returned in full force to the promised land. Arkansas's moves in the transfer portal have garnered them some significant success where needed, but as we all know, John Calipari is very successful in the postseason. I'm sure this won't lead to another instant collapse in the tournament though. Right? The winners of the Missouri Valley Conference. In other words, the Gary the Snail of college basketball, because their offense is about as entertaining as watching paint dry. Somehow, despite this, they managed to collect 30 wins before the big dance. If they somehow managed to turn the game into their game, they could make the tournament itself into a sleep fest. 8 years felt like forever ago for the Rams, as it was the last time they found themselves in this position where they were on top of the Mountain West. With a season I can describe only as failure to launch, the Rams are thought to be out of the competition early, but some quick regrouping has put them in a position to be a problem in the tournament. I'll support your endeavor to beat Memphis so they can finally shut the fuck up. No, this isn't the women's, so leave the down bad comments out of this, Molly Miller fans. Bryce Drew may not have the same looks, but the team he brought to the table looks like a force in the dance. Being Western Athletic champions, the Antelopes have gotten hot at no better time than now. Maryland is what stands in their way of further improvement through the years. Embrace the upset. While they may not be the best team in the tournament, they are definitely one of the most exciting to watch. Just ask Delaware. A dogfight in the Colonial Athletic Association Championship assured UNC Wilmington a spot here. The offense has the credentials to keep up, but going head-to-head against a force as strong as the Red Raiders sets up for a make-it-or-break-it situation. Ride the saddle to glory. Or the siddle. Wait, isn't your prowess exclusive to baseball? What are you doing here? I guess we can thank the Summit League for this one. Chris Clutchfield managed to make history with their first ever tournament appearance in the program, so congratulations, but I don't think you're built for what's to come. I don't think it really matters though, since I think you're just happy to be here. Norfolk State is just another example of the perks of hiding your true potential until you hit the conference tournament. While they started out down, they rallied late to pull out the MEA seed conference title over Howard. Again, just happy to be here, since you're literally being thrown to the gauntlet. Best of luck in that one, bring a helmet. At long last, we've reached the Midwest, where the Cougars have solidified themselves as the premier program of the Big 12. Nobody considered it early when they started out 4-3, but once they hit their conference slate, not many could cross the true iron wall. With allowing less than 60 points per game on average, it's safe to say that teams that struggle offensively will be lucky to score 40 on the Big 12 champs. We're falling for it again, aren't we? Another 2 seed. You'd think after losing Dalton Connect, this spot would be much less certain, but with guys like Chaz Lanier coming in, the team seems to be in a similar position. A marquee tournament run could set the Vols up as a team that will be tough for anyone to run through. Offensive struggles from the three-point line continue to haunt the Vols though. Despite their shortcomings in the SEC title game, being number 2 sets up for a possible big run. Or another quick episode of pain. What's that? We're shooting another 3? Yep, thought so. You just had to end up in our division, huh? John Calipari's departure put Kentucky in a spot where they've slowly reconsidered this spot as an upgrade. Mark Pope has somehow made the Wildcats better across every board from the looks of it. Being one of the only teams that managed to get the jump over Duke, they'll be a tough run for anyone if they're hot enough. Let's hope the injury bug will be kind to them this time. Basketball's harder without the Eiffel Tower forcing 300 fouls every game, huh? Well, they certainly felt Zach Edey's loss. Purdue transitioned suboptimally to the point that there's still a squad to watch for the race for the crown. Guys like Trey Kaufman-Rain in their brightest moments will set up for a tough go-round for anyone. The draw that they have in the tournament won't do them good though, but if they get lucky, they could make it back to the promised land. Just don't expect as much ref ball interference as last time. The expectation is greater than the appreciation, right Dabo? Not so much here. The Taters surpassed expectations by a significant amount on their way to the 5 seed. Just like Ian Schefflin, they improved drastically as the season progressed. Though they came up short in the conference tournament, they are one of the only bright spots among Tank Conference that can actually do something. that, or they'll die instantly because you're in the ACC. Maybe the Big Ten is just as loaded in the basket of balls as they are in the foot of balls. Despite a 12-8 record in the conference, Illinois has proven that they are a legit force in the country. Freshman Will Riley rose as one of the big-time playmakers. I don't expect you to get too far with the adversity you have to face, but it's certainly not out of the realm of possibility that you do just like your football team and exceed expectations. Too bad Burt Bielema won't be around to troll this time. Don't be distracted by their seed. This is a team that could be a huge problem. Any team with a lower tier offense might be in hell when playing the Bruins, who are bringing in a near top 25 defense. With a bunch of veterans in their prime, UCLA has a wall of steel that can make it far in this shitfest. Keep your fingers crossed that the defense doesn't implode out of nowhere. To nobody's surprise, the Bulldogs have returned to the powerhouse on offense we all expected them to be. Being second ranked nationally in that department, they will have to rely on their defense to exist to actually make use of it. With guys like Steel Venters being on their side, this is a team built for the long run if things go their way. Will they return to the Sweet 16 though? Only time shall tell. Truly a momentous occasion in history. The one-sport merchants of the college world have finally figured out that they have more sports to play in. Their fans don't care, as long as they have turned off all sports outlets until the fall. But this is Georgia's best year in a very long time. While they haven't garnered the success that Florida has now, Mike White can thank them for their appearance because of that win midway through the year. Figure out how to keep up against Gonzaga and maybe you'll do more than appear. While not nearly as potent as Gonzaga's, Utah State has an offense that can fight with anyone in the country at the right time. A great regular season wound up setting them in despite their shortcomings in the conference tournament. It'll set them up for an offense versus defense game when they play UCLA. Both squads have the chance to do something significant or die trying. Another first four game featuring two teams just lucky to be here. Xavier's production on offense was just enough to land them a spot in the first four. Texas is here mainly because of the SEC superiority complex, so you can thank us for that. The Longhorns' terrible defense could very well round up being your downfall. Your punishment for being selected is being forced onto True TV. Go to the CW while you're at it. McNeese, like Utah State, is a underrated force due to their powerhouse offense, placing at 26 in the country in their offensive rating. Contrary to popular belief, their defense is even better with a 22nd nationally ranked force there. This team has all the potential in the world, but it'll be a hit or miss as they progress against highly rated Clemson. Final four maybe? Welcome to the dance for the first time ever, High Point. You've never been here, so let me lay the ground rules. Number 1, expect hell. Number 2, bring a defense about as good as 83rd. Number 3, bring an offense about as good as 4th in the country. And number 4, beat Purdue, which many of the Cinderellas before you have done already. So you've got a great setup for you. Go be great. Though the Trojans didn't have the best run in the conference, their Sun Belt title gifted them with an automatic bid. Scott Cross had a year of elite success by just playing mid enough to win the conference and then some. As the 14th seed, they'll need just a pinch of luck to slide past Kentucky. Where's Calipari when you need him? Been a great year for the Waffle Fry Terriers, who managed to claim the title of the Southern Conference through their struggles. And oh boy did they struggle. 19-15 record isn't all that bad when you consider they managed to win their conference. Back again for the first time since 2019, they will have their chance in the tourney. Against the Vols, no less. For my sanity's sake, please just let us beat you. Please. Our final team. From Edwardsville, they managed to get here by doing the same thing a lot of teams here did. Claiming their conference. Through the put family and basketball approach, no less. Under the Dom Toretto approach, the bond of theirs cannot be broken. Hopefully their spirits remain intact after whatever Houston is about to do to them. And there you have it. 68 teams left to battle for the trophy and only one could come out on top. In terms of the Final Four, Houston and Florida just look too good to lose. BYU looks to be red hot, and the Cinderella comes down to New Mexico. Expecting the unexpected is the best way to put it. So wish the best for your team, good luck in the brackets, and power to Tardaria. And buy the merch while you're at it.
Into the paint, picked off by Gillis. Now the 10th turnover for the Tar Heels, where each and every possession on the offensive end becomes extremely important, trying to catch up to the Blue Devils.
The nipple again. Man, do they love to run that play. Those two